shot here. Let's see if we can get this going here. I'd really like to get this working. So really strange technology. So I have been having trouble with Instagram lately. So let's see if we can get Steve to pop in here one last time. See if we can get this to work. Let's see. So bear with me, guys. Here, I'm just trying to get Steve to pop in. We got it to work and then it froze. So there's a bunch of people hopping on. Hey guys, thanks for hopping on. I am going to have a guest on who's going to walk us through a meditation. However, we've having
Yes.
so it says you turn on video, but I still can't see you. So
Oh, for
yeah, this is crazy.
I see both of us.
Yeah, that's weird. I'm not sure. For Nina Luca, can you see both of us, or do you just see me?
She said she saw both of us last time.
Oh, really? Yeah. How about uh, Jarmac 22? Can you see both of us? Comment. Let us know. Can you just see? Okay. Okay. Usually I can see the other person, but if she can see both of us, then let's just roll. But I can't see you. But hey, I guess it's the best we're gonna get, huh?
I just get to make faces at you and you don't know it.
Hey, that's great story of my life. But anyway, guys, so we're just gonna roll with it. But anyway, I wanted to have Steve on. He's a fellow warrior brother of mine, a trainer, a coach, and I wanted to have him on because we are going to talk meditation. So, Steve, why don't you tell us a little bit about your story and your background?
Well, appreciate you having me here, Paul, even if you can't see me. But
Yeah, I know what you look like.
for me, meditation, I got into that 5 years ago when I was in a bad place. Just completely lost mentally. Everything, nothing was going right. I reached out to the VA and I got talking to a therapist there, and he turned me on to meditation. And through doing that and talking to him over a few years, I realized that everything in my life, the basis of comes from your mind. And if your mind's not right, then everything else goes haywire. And so that was my problem. I just couldn't, like, everything wasn't real. Like, my whole reality was just all these stories that my mind was telling me, and there was no calm, there was no silence. And that translates into literally going insane in a way. And there was bouts of suicide and everything else, um, until I finally found this path that has literally changed my life and saved it. Um,
So you're a former vet. What branch
yes,
did you serve in?
I was in the Marine Corps.
Well,
Did
thank
that
you for your
for,
service.
thank you. I was glad to protect the country for what I was doing.
Yeah.
uh,
And for those who are just joining us, we got Steve from Fundamental Freedom on in a few minutes. After we get to know him and all that stuff, he's going to walk us through live meditation. So hang tight and join us for that. So you, how long did you serve in the military?
I did 4 years from 2007 to 2011.
So
Um,
combat.
I was in Iraq in 2009. My job was chemical, biological, and nuclear defense. So I didn't go out I was out of the wire a couple times, but for different missions, not patrolling. Most of my time was spent in the combat center on watch. And for me, that was almost in a way worse because it felt like a prison.
Yeah.
And then that became my mind, was that prison. And the only escape was what most guys in the service know when you're over there, is you either turn to God or you turn to working out. And that's what I did. Most of the time was go work out for hours at a time when I wasn't doing my job. So,
Well, that can only take you so far. There's a lot of men that that's kind of the first go-to, I feel like, in a lot of instances. And um, though it's very beneficial, my background being in health and wellness, it's only going to do so much for your mind.
yes.
So, how long have you been practicing meditation? Like, when did this start?
So I've been doing it for 5 years. After, like I said, talking to the therapist with the VA and getting turned on to it, I ended up signing up for a course and getting my certification as a meditation and mindfulness teacher.
Oh, wow.
And that's been my space, working towards helping other veterans and anybody that wants to listen honestly and better themselves and get their mind right. Because, like I said, it all starts up here. And if this isn't working right, then kind of nothing does. And so that's the basis of, the business name, Fundamental Freedom.
Yeah, I love it. And I know I was skeptical when I first heard about meditation. What were your thoughts towards it?
I had heard about it a long time ago when I was younger, and I think I had the same idea about it as most people do. It's like, I can't do this. I can't sit still for X amount of time and not do anything. I don't know if that's the same concept that you kind of came to it with, or.
Yeah, I recently just started meditating as of like June, so like 5 months ago. And I had a coach prior that tried to walk me through 12 o'clock meditation. Um, the real down and dirty of that type of meditation is picturing a clock in your mind, trying to bring the hands both to noon there. Like I said, that's my version of it. But my problem was I tried it. It wasn't anything that I thought was beneficial to me at the time, that I would spend time to go down the rabbit hole, if you will, in order to, find some benefit to it. And so I had tried it and I was like, I'm good. Now, funny thing, God has a mysterious way of working, full circle several years later, back to my experience. When I first meditated in June, my then coach, Garrett White, pushed me to meditate. And knowing that I had a background in the health and wellness space, I decided to start my meditation in a cold plunge, because I knew at that time I had just started cold plunging, and I knew, the fight or flight system, fight or flight. And when you get into a cold plunge, the first 45 seconds, everything is telling you to get out and leave. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to use this meditation that I'm being pushed to try as a way to calm myself within a cold plunge. And it was at that time for me, was the first time that I heard God speak to me in several years. And my practice now is a little bit different. Now that my cold plunge is down to like 39, 41 degrees most days, it's really hard to fucking meditate in that, if you could imagine. But the point is it got me out of my ego. It got me out of my space and my own comfort, to where if I just sat down in a chair today or back then, I'd be thinking of the million things that I had to do. So this really did a few things for me, Steve. Was it allowed me to work on my body with the cold plunge, but it also allowed me to quiet my mind while I was focusing on meditating. And so now I obviously don't do that. I do it in the morning in front of the fireplace, first thing when I get up, and it definitely sets my day up. So that's kind of my journey for meditation. Last week, and I went through Meditation Mastery, which again blew my mind. The more and more that I continue to pursue this idea of meditation, it keeps showing up new and different things. For example, last week I learned about compass meditation, right? So pointing yourself in a different area, different direction, north, south, east, west, is going to give you a fundamental different experience. And I had never heard this before. And the reason that this is so interesting to me is because it's tied to meridians. And my wife, being a doctor, she knows a lot about meridians. She works on my meridians all the time. And so this concept of, well, hey, if I face west, I'm working on a different meridian in my body. Now, if you're someone who's never heard of meridians or meditations, you're probably like, what the fuck are you guys talking about, right? But it's crazy that the more you get into this, the deeper you can go and the deeper connection you can have in these sessions. So yeah, Steve, like what else have you found in this realm of meditating and quieting your mind and all of that?
Well, funny enough, like there's so much in the meditation space. Like I've only scratched the surface myself, honestly. And like you're talking about the directional meditation, I hadn't heard of that until I did Meditation Mastery either. And for me, I found that facing east was pure chaos. I almost couldn't calm and collect myself, calm my mind when I was facing east.
It's crazy.
It's weird, and everybody's got a different experience with it too.
That's what's so awesome is like, someone like me who I have a million things going through my head all the time, certain directions quiet me down or certain directions amp me up, just like you said.
Yeah. And so with that, like you're saying, there's so many different things in that space. Like when I was learning to teach meditation, things that people, when I talk to them about, they just, it kind of blows their mind, like it did mine when I first learned about it, such as eating meditation or walking meditation or loving kindness meditation. So one of my favorites that really gets to people is an eating meditation. And that's very useful for people that have issues with weight, because it forces you to, just like slowing your mind down with a stillness meditation, to actually be with the food that you're eating. And so
I've never heard of that. Never. Wow.
Yeah. So like, for instance, taking a strawberry and cutting it in half and just sitting with that strawberry and being with the strawberry, looking at it from all angles, the different colors of the seeds as they go from top to bottom, the white veins inside of it, how those look, and then smelling it, and then eventually like taking a small bite of it and just feeling presently the taste, the texture, and everything. And if we do that with the food that we eat, it allows us to actually be with that energy, because food is energy, right? So we're putting that energy into our bodies instead of just shoveling it into our face and putting way too much than we need. You actually take the time to be grateful and be with that food and what it is offering you in terms of energy. And so in doing that, again, slowing down, we realize that it takes a lot less food to actually fill us up and make us feel full and satiated versus sitting there and eating a bag of potato chip and, you know, a full cake or a pizza, and then a half an hour later wanting to eat something else.
Yeah. Well, and I think, I mean, that's amazing. I've never heard of that before. But I think that there's a lot of skepticism and things like that surrounding meditation. I know that myself, being a trained investigator, somebody that had a trained eye to, you know, find issues or mistakes or I mean, even interrogate people, like I've always been skeptical about those things. And, you know, particularly when you grow up in the Catholic Church, that's a whole other topic that we probably won't get into tonight. But the idea of, you know, bringing God and meditation together, and people, particularly Christians, I'm calling you out. You know, they want to say that that's you can't do that, right? Right? Like, you know, you got to pray the rosary if you're Catholic, you know, stuff like that. But for me, I was like, okay, like, is meditation going against my belief in the Creator? And doing my own research, looking, you know, through the Bible, looking through biblical texts, stuff like that. It's like, no, meditation is actually mentioned over 20 times. And I guess you could kind of split hairs when you talk about Jesus, you know, going off by himself for several days at a time, or fasting and meditation and all this stuff. It's really quite interesting for someone like me, that when I started this process, I was absolutely skeptical about meditating. And so, have you found anything in your studies or anything like that, or skepticism that you've come up against during your studies?
Oh yeah, I have a 13-year-old daughter who is completely skeptical of meditation.
Yeah.
She refuses to even embrace the idea. I mean, but I get it, because like I said, when I was younger, that whole concept to me, I was the exact same way. I was like, I can't sit here and not think of anything. That's ridiculous, you know.
Well, and something else that I just learned recently too is, you know, I'm the type of guy that when I lay down to go to sleep at night, I think of all this shit that I have to do or want to do, right? And so sometimes I struggle to fall asleep, and I have this a similar experience within my meditation where, you know, especially in the morning, I just got out of bed, it's early, it's quiet in my house, then my head starts going. So then I started incorporating fire breathing to recenter myself. And I've figured out that about 6 or 7 fire breathing breaths is actually what will get me back um, focused on the meditation. And so again, that's something that someone can add. So if you're trying to meditate and you're trying to continue to pursue this, and I want to employ everybody that you can do this. Like, you just got to find what works. And some days suck for me, and some days are great. And I'm sure Steve would agree with that. But you can do this. You just got to find the tools and the resources to continue and practice it daily in order to get the benefits.
Yes. And I mean, you said it there, like, breath is the foundation of meditation as it is. Like, and I think there's a misconception about meditation because everybody thinks of stillness meditation. Meditation itself is fundamentally just being present.
Yeah.
Like, we are doing nothing more than being now, because that's all we have is the now. And so that's why I literally try to stay in a meditative state as best as I can throughout the entire day, which I can do by walking meditation or eating meditation or stillness meditation or whatever other kind of meditation I feel like employing.
Well,
For
that's
instance,
oh, go ahead. Sorry.
when I'm at work, like, I work in the steel mill, and it's not a pretty place, but there's still foliage around. and there's still a breeze and there's still the sky. So while I'm at work, just sitting there and being with all of that, feeling the breeze on my face, seeing the leaves rustling in the trees. It's just being there and being present.
Yeah. Well, and it's a great point too, because it's happened to me several times where, I've sat down, I put on my headphones, I put on an eye mask. I like to use the Endel app. That works well for me. I also have a collection of music on Spotify that I'll turn on. But there have been times for me that within my 20 or 25 minutes of meditating in the morning, it seems like it's not great. But then I go through the rest of my morning where, I'll get in the cold plunge, hop in the shower, get ready, and then I get in my car. So maybe I'm about an hour after I meditated and I'm driving down the highway and I just have moments of clarity where I was like, oh, like these things start coming to me. And it's like, okay, so I did the meditation in the morning. I didn't get something directly from it at that time, but an hour later, I get this rush of clarity and things that I was asking for, or talking to God to, like, just getting answers, right? Like it's happened to me a few times, and so that is a perfect, I think, segue into what we're getting ready to do. So, if you want to go ahead and set this up, Steve, let's get meditating, bro.
Sure. So, kind of touched on it earlier. The one that I think helped me the most personally through my journey, that I like to practice with other people, is the loving kindness meditation. Now we're gonna start with just regular breathing, of course, because that's how we get into that space. But then going into a loving kindness meditation, where we give love to ourselves, to a significant other, to a neutral person, to somebody that we don't like, and then to all sentient beings and everything in the universe. Because putting that energy out there kind of is what brings us back to ourselves. And so without being in that space, without giving yourself that love and showing that love to everything and everybody else, whether you like them or not, it's more of a forgiveness and a place of being than anything else. So let me get set. So everybody, if you want to get into a comfortable position, whether you're sitting or laying down, whatever works well for you. I like to sit with my spine straight and my feet flat on the ground, and gently close your eyes. And we're going to take 3 deep breaths through our nose and exhaling through our mouth. And exhale. And breathe in. And exhale. And breathe in. And exhale. And as we sit here, continue deep breathing, feeling the air as it passes through your nostrils, filling your lungs, the oxygen that feeds our blood, And exhaling through the mouth, feeling the air as it crosses the lips, and bringing our focus to the breath. We want to keep the focus on our breathing in and out. If you notice your mind wandering, that's completely fine. Just gently bring your focus back to the breath. And I invite you now to feel into your feet and breathe into your feet, noticing any sensations, the cold or warm ground. If you have socks on, how they feel. And now move your attention up your legs to your knees, noticing any pain or sensations you might have. Breathing into that space. And now bring your attention slowly up your thighs to your butt, whether you're sitting or lying down, feeling the sensation of the chair or your clothing. And now move your attention up through your stomach, into your chest, where your heart is, and breathe into your heart space. Moving our way from the heart up to the shoulders, recognizing any kind of tension or stress. Breathing and relaxing with each exhale. Now feel down your arms, noticing any sensations as you move down towards your fingers. Breathing into those spaces. Again, if there's anything in mind, simply let them go and return your focus to your breath and your fingers. And now feel into your head, all the way up to the top of your head. Notice what you feel in that space while you breathe in through your nose and exhale through your mouth, feeling the relaxation across your whole body. And now I invite you to come back to your heart space. Breathe into your heart and feel it as it pumps inside of your chest. The energy that it gives your body, pushing the life force of blood through your veins. This energy inside your chest, the love inside your chest. Feel into that love. Sit with it and let it spread through your body. Pulsing, filling you with the pure energy of love. And while we feel into this space, I want you to bring yourself into your mind's eye. And we will speak these mantras in our minds, repeating after me as you see yourself in your mind's eye. May I be happy and healthy, full of peace and love. now bring your significant other or somebody that you love very dearly into your mind's eye. See them vividly in front of you and speak to them. May you be happy and healthy, full of peace and love. And now bring in to your mind's eye someone you don't know very well, maybe the mailman or someone you just happen to remember seeing throughout your day today. Picture them in your mind and speak to them. May you be happy and healthy, full of peace and love. And now I invite you to bring into your mind's eye a difficult person, somebody you may have strong negative feelings towards. Picture them in front of you in your mind and repeat, may you be happy and healthy, full of peace and love. And now I invite you to bring the whole of humanity, every sentient being on the planet, every living creature in all of the cosmos, into your mind. And once again speak, may you be happy and healthy, full of peace and love. And breathing back into our heart center, letting this love and pure energy radiate to all these people that were brought into our mind. casting away any negativity. Feeling all the pure love inside of your body flowing from your heart through your veins. And now let's take 3 more deep breaths together. And inhale and exhale. And inhale and exhale. And inhale and exhale. Slowly bringing yourself back to the present inside your body, feeling your toes and fingers again. And whenever feels comfortable and ready for you, open your eyes.
Right. All right. All right. Well, thanks, brother. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Appreciate you
Thanks.
entertaining
Yeah.
the meditation.
I was just looking through. Nobody commented, like, what the hell is going on here? But hey, that's awesome. We had a bunch of people pop in and out. And so just want to say thank you to running us through that. And if you guys have any meditation questions, please contact Steve at Fundamental Freedom here on Instagram. And any parting words, brother?
Just want everybody to be the change that they want to see in the world, really.
Amen to that. And the only other thing I'll add to that, guys, is look, I came from a place of skepticism, of, this is whatever you want to call it. And I can tell you that implementing a daily meditation practice, although some days is not great, but some days are fantastic, will absolutely alter the course of whatever it is that you're going through or whatever it is that you have on the horizon that you're working towards. If you have a money problem, you have a meditation problem. If you have a body problem, you have a meditation problem, and so on and so on and so on. So I employ you guys that you guys can do this too. Like I said, I use the Indle app. That's what I use. You can go, if you have Spotify already, there's thousands of playlists that you can do. But the main thing is you guys got to figure out what works for you. What works for a guy like me may not work for someone like Steve. What works for Steve may not work for someone like you. There are tons of different ways to do this. The only thing that you guys have to do is you have to go and do it and practice it and practice it and then practice it some more in order to receive the benefits. So with that, guys, I want to say thank you to Steve for running us through that meditation. And thank you, as always, to you guys for popping on and continuing to send me messages or, just flat out thank you for doing whatever it is. I want you guys to experience what I've experienced with meditation. So with that, we'll see you guys. This is Paul signing off. Thanks, brother.
Thank you, brother.